Dead Art Studios Paint and Chat, back again, working on this 30 by 40 centimetre birch panel painting. Been messing around with it, doing lots of different things, and today we're going to be using acrylics again, and we're going to be using it with a bit of water, try almost like a watercolour style with acrylics onto the birch panel. And I've already done some of this, if you look. I made sort of some pools and colours around the sort of composition, which is a sort of semi-abstract beach scene. And layers below that I've been sanding and scratching and scraping, trying to create lots of different textures, and it's kind of been up and down with how much I've liked it, but we're continuing. It's not gone in the bin yet, so that's one good thing. I'm just going to carry on tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my yogurt pot lids. I'm going to try and look at this sort of, I mean, we can call it a horizon line. It's kind of the furthest point of the painting that you can see other than the sky, so kind of the vanishing point, I suppose, if you want. Nothing's really vanishing there. That's where we're going to look. And I'm going to get some paint out, mix it with some water, make it really quite thin. Let's see what we've got. I've got some burnt sienna. I think I'd rather have a bit of burnt umber. Immediately drop the lid. It's okay, I've got my painting clothes on, so no biggie. Bit of burnt umber on there, and then it's hard to know how much water to put in for this. I'm going to try and just put a little bit in. I want it to be drippy and pool, but I don't want it shooting everywhere. Some of this stuff earlier, that was the case, and that was cool, but now I want to be a bit more precise with it. Drip a bit in. This is just my spray bottle. I keep my water in. Let's mix that in and see how it looks. Use this little plastic palette knife. And acrylics do mix quite well with water. Probably not as well as watercolours, obviously, but or maybe they do. I mean, I've not really used watercolours since I was like maybe 15 years old, maybe even younger than that. So I can't really comment. So paint and chat. It's all about just random conversation while I paint. Nothing's rehearsed, nothing's planned. I do have a think about what I'm going to talk about a little bit, and then I sort of feel like, oh, that seems a bit daft, or, you know, I'm overthinking that, or, oh, has that got political connotations and things like that. I've got this little sponge tool. I'm just going to try and pour some water along there. Some painted water. Right, shake off any drips. There we go. Just like that. Leaving a bit of texture there, isn't it? Let's do it again. Let's go right off the end. Up to there. Just going to keep doing it. And then I might lift the paint in. Get it to spread a bit. Where else could we have some of this? Maybe up here. And here. I can't really make my mind up with paint and chat. Although I just want to be sort of peaceful, not a lot being said. Just doing some art. Whether I want to have a topic. And the topic that kind of came to mind was got some shampoo. It had Keith Haring on it, all of a sudden, out of nowhere. Keith Haring shampoo. So I read the bottle, trying to figure out why Keith Haring shampoo exists. Nothing to do with his sort of art, philosophy, or the history, or his sort of activism. Keith Haring was around in the 80s in the New York art scene, and I'm sure you all know his famous art. Sort of in the graffiti style, figures, hearts, cool patterns surrounding. And he was an artist, an activist, and died young. And one of the sort of questions I had was like, did anybody own his work? So I sort of thought, how have they got hold of this brand? How have they got the rights to this? Are there rights? What's the deal? So I had a look, and there's the Keith Haring Foundation, and that was set up by Keith Haring in the year of his death. I think he knew that he would be leaving us early around that time, and he set up the Keith Haring Foundation to support art and to raise money for HIV research. Doesn't want to move. And he was very commercially minded in some ways, in terms of him wanting to spread the word of his art, and he kind of didn't see there being any point in doing it if people weren't sort of looking at it and seeing it. But then I kind of wondered whether that stretched to sort of just putting the art onto just branding it onto some shampoo without any particular reason to it. And maybe it would, I don't want to speak for him in respect to that. But what I did notice now was that the Keith Haring Foundation's still around, and I don't know who controls it or anything like that. But the actual licensing for like using his artwork has been sort of like handed over to a subletted almost to a company called like Art Star. And you can check their website out. They've got Basquiat as well. They seem to represent his stuff, and I think this is how like this kind of artwork ends up on like clothes from Primark and things like this. And I couldn't help but think that things had lost their way a little bit. But on the other hand, it kind of brings a new generation to it, to the history. And around that time in the 80s, it was an exciting time in art, and art still kind of meant something. Painting. Not in a way that I don't think it does now. I've discussed this before when I was talking about AI in the last video. And it made me think of the term enshittification. I think it was coined, well, I don't actually know, but like by some kind of marketing guru or something. I could be wrong on that. That's the certain feeling I got in my mind. And shittification, and I think it's specifically related to how things like social media sites, like Facebook and Instagram, and I suppose TikTok, how in a bid to remain eternally profitable and relevant, they have to keep sort of trying to innovate year in, year out, almost for no reason, to the point where it wrecks the very platform that it's on. More adverts, more little tabs and buttons to press, more this and more that, to the point where it's just shit. I just wondered if that was what's happened to society, or just existence. Can that happen on a sort of in the data of existence itself, the universe? Can the universe become shitified? In some ways it can, because within the universe is the social media sites. Let's put a bit of this over here. Well, that's quite interesting. Just a little swipes like this. These little tree things I've made here, I'm not sure what I think. I'm almost tempted just to streak up one and see what happens. Streak up that one, see what happens. I don't know. I think we should be careful there. A little spray with a spray bottle. Yeah, that I prefer. Let's see what happens when we drop some more brown into that. Okay. Brown done. Have I used this yet? No. Let's get some yellow along this bit here. Sort of beach. The back beach. I've got a foreground beach here and a background beach, and yeah, let's get some yellow on that. Nice chunky yellow. Spray some water in. Now, get a piece of kitchen roll. Ooh. Just clean off my palette knife. That's it. I'm going to mix it in, but not too much. I want some strong areas of colour to go down. I think this one's clean. It is. And the number of times this painting has sort of been worked and reworked and erased and reimagined is a lot now. But what I'm trying to do is just practice techniques and effects, and hopefully over the years, as I develop, because I will have made the mistakes and carried out all the different techniques, I'll eventually have control over them, and I'll be able to execute them how and when I want. Admittedly now, this is a little bit more haphazard. It's the point of discovery rather than the point of control. Let's get over that blue. We should make it sort of green. Could be worse. This bit. So weird. We've had such random good weather here in the UK this week in April. This is crazy. It's like the middle of summer. But it's not quite because it's still a little bit cool, so it's fresh and nice. It's just so perfect. You're not overheated, but you're getting the sun in your face. Brilliant. I love it. So yeah, I don't know what you guys might think about all this. Like the Keith Haring situation. Maybe Keith's happy that his artwork's been resurrected onto a shampoo bottle. I don't know. I mean, if somebody put one of my paintings on a shampoo bottle in many years to come, I'm not sure I'd have a particular issue with it. But then, from this standpoint, my lowly standpoint, it seems a bit shallow. Just marketing. Because it doesn't even say anything on the back about it, like who he was and what he meant. And he did. My favourite saying that he did was the crack is whack. Crack is whack. It fits in so brilliantly with the sort of 1980s. The time, pre-computer messages were being disseminated like that with art. I mean, when does this... Is there a culture now? I mean, the closest thing we've got is like Banksy, but it's more like a murder mystery. It's like, oh, Banksy's been about. I mean, I do like his or his team's artwork. I do like it. I like all art. Anybody who's taken any time to go and create anything, I've got some time to appreciate that endeavour. But there's not really a scene like that. That sort of the mainstream media. I think it is because there isn't really a mainstream media anymore, is it? It's very... We all used to sit down and watch the same, like 2 or 3 channels for our information. That's kind of definitely changed. Another one. I've got a mountain of them. Look how much yogurt I eat. Loads. I'm always trying to be fit and healthy and stay trim. And later, older age, it's so difficult. To stay trim, I seem to need to basically, as far as I can work out, eat nothing. Just misery levels of food. And I do like a nice meal. I mean, I'm not talking about just gnawing on junk food all the time here. I'm just talking about, a good main meal, a nice big bit of pudding. Don't seem to be able to get away with it. I mean, it's all coming back to just focusing on thinking I should look a certain way or something. But when I take my daughter swimming, it is a bit... drags my heart down a little bit. Because I like fitness and exercise and everything. I don't seem to be able to get on top of it. I'm always battling. Right, randomly got some ultramarine on the table here. Let's use this, get it into that. Well, all the water's gone into the... From the yellow has gone into the sea bit. Now, I am quite enjoying the softer... I mean, everything I've been doing has been sort of razor blades and harshness, and I've been quite enjoying this softness, and I have to admit my art's taken over winter, I'm just going to pick this paint off of this because it's satisfying. Oh, don't want to come off. Over winter, I was doing loads and loads of art and drawing and everything, and it just seems to have waned a little bit. I hadn't had the energy. And I just feel, because I was doing it all at night like I am now, I just wanted to go to sleep. Sometimes I'm on a real sort of focus trip and I don't want to sleep. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying it, and it's good for you, isn't it? And it makes you feel rested and healthy. Right, let's get this in here. Nice bit of water. So Andrew made the decision that Keith's foundation, that they were going to let Art Star basically manage the licensing of his artwork, and then who at Art Star, is it anyone? Can you be anyone? You know, can anyone come and say I want to license his artwork for whatever reason? Is there any level of selectivity to it? Let's just that on. Just try pouring this, see what happens. It's going to be difficult because I want to tidy up in a bit, and this is all going to drip over the side there. Right, let's tilt it a little bit. And I'm just going to sort of let it do that down. Oh, it's on the move up here. It's skulking off here. Let's put some. Let's put some blue into that. Let's go straight in, squirt some in, see what happens up here. There's not much paint left there. Oh, dropped it. I have poor motor control when it comes to grabbing things. Long story, won't go into it now. Making a weird greeny blue. Oof. Things are getting out of control. Let's spray into that as well. Try not to spray my camera. Notoriously not waterproof. I think we're okay. Let's tilt. And let's smoothly and dab. Yeah, get into these thicker bits and drag the colour. Spray this bit a bit more. Might just see what happens if I swirl in with a brush in here and pull a little bit more. Not a lot. Let's dab a bit. I think some of this could come down, back down. Okay. I think we're going to let that dry. I'm off away soon, so I'm going to make another paint and chat this week. Try and release it when I'm not here. Try and keep up with once a week. Messed up last week. But try and stay close to the vision of once a week. See you later. Paint and chat. Dead Art Studios.